Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, continuing with our collectibles guide for Sniper Elite 5. This is Mission 5, Festung Guernsey. And in this mission, as with all, we'll have 19 collectibles to grab. Classified documents, personal letters, hidden items, workbenches, stone eagles, and everything else you might need. And we can get one in one of the very first bases we get into near the very beginning. I've taken out all the enemies. You can also take out the radio tower here as a side objective. But once we do that, we can go up and to the right to find a safe combination. And then we can go into the next room, but through the window as the door is locked, to open up the safe and find the classified document inside. We can also blow open the safe with a satchel charge, but I'd recommend saving those for later. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is actually grab an achievement or trophy called Strategist, and this one is for getting a tank to blow up an enemy vehicle, and it's pretty easy on this mission. I showed you exactly where I am, and directly in front of me, there will always be a tank, although it will roam around the field, so you may have to wait for it to kind of get close to you. I've marked it so you can see it. And then right next to it is a road, and this road is frequented by many vehicles, including 3 trucks and multiple motorcycles. Now what you want to do is save your game when you have the tank nearby and there's a vehicle on its way. This is just in case it goes wrong. You can reload your checkpoint and not have to worry about taking too long to try again. Once the vehicle is kind of in front of you and between you and the tank, take out your gun and shoot in the air to stop the driver and stop the vehicle in the road. Now what you need to do is get the tank's attention, and you need to get the tank to shoot at you when you are near the vehicle. But you can't be too close to it or else it won't shoot at you. So I'm just going to stand just off to the side here, making sure the reticle is red. It will eventually shoot, blowing up the vehicle and unlocking the Strategist achievement. We can also grab this on mission 7 if you want, so you can always save it for later. And I would recommend loading up your game so you don't have to do the rest of the mission with no health. Next up, we have our first personal letter of the mission, and it is found on an enemy, so keep that in mind. At the end of the road here, by where we just grabbed that tank achievement, you can find this tower. This tower will have 2, sometimes 3 enemies, and one of them will be a higher ranked kind of officer, and you can find out with binoculars or just by scoping and looking at them. But you want to make sure you take out this enemy and then search their body to get the personal letter off of them. They're usually the one at the bottom of the tower and not the one at the top of the tower. I also have a perk that automatically loots bodies that I take down, which is why I grabbed it there. From the previous collectible, you can move a little bit north and you'll end up in a small little town with like 3 or 4 buildings. There's actually no enemies here. It's a really random town. But if you go into this kind of smallest building while facing north, it's the one on the right. And inside of this building, you can find a hole in the ground. Drop on down, you can find 2 collectibles in here. One of them is a hidden item and one of them is a personal letter. Make sure you grab both before leaving. Now we're going to be doing a little bit of crisscrossing during this path. There is no real great way to do all of the collectibles effectively and then end up at the exfiltration point. Anyways, I'm kind of in the middle-ish of the map, and on this road you can find this kind of old abandoned church. There is a zip line that leads away from it, and this zip line goes into one of the kind of tower spires. And all we'll need to do is climb the moss and the vines, and then that will allow you to start climbing these metal poles, and that'll allow you to climb into the window itself. And here you can find the rifle workbench. We are now on the far left side of the map on the road, and I'm standing south of this large building that you can see on the left of the map. You may be approaching from a different side if you're coming from the last collectible though. Now, once you are here, there's going to be a couple things we can grab, but we're going to start with the personal letter. And you can either go inside and use the stairs inside or climb on the outside here. Watch out for some enemies. But if you climb up on this middle floor in the back room, you can find personal letter number 3, so make sure you grab it while you're here. Additionally, we can shoot 2 stone eagles from the top of this building, so climb onto the top and look out the window directly to your east. This might be a little bit hard to see and you might need to scope first, but if you look back at that church we were just at, you'll be able to find a stone eagle. You may have to crouch and kind of adjust your camera, or else it can be a little bit hard to see, but grab that stone eagle as well. We can actually shoot a second stone eagle from here, so go to the back room, and this time you'll want to face north. Along the shoreline there is a tall tower, which we'll be going to next, but on the very top of it there is a stone eagle. You can't really shoot at this eagle from when you're standing at that tower we're about to go to, so that's why you got to shoot it from kind of far away. So we moved quite a bit north from where we just were, and we are at that tower that we just shot the stone eagle off of. I've taken out all of the enemies, and you'll notice that there's a little bit of a spire here. And if you just follow the road on the map, the road will lead you into the base through this path, and then you can take the first door on your right into the first room to find classified documents. Then we've moved just a little bit north, and we are going towards the U-boat related main objective, where we'll have to turn off some pressure valves and destroy the U-boats. It's a kind of long and convoluted mission, but if you go into this kind of underground base from that last little base we were at, you'll end up being able to get deeper inside using this ladder. And if you then continue forward, you'll end up stumbling upon a bunch of enemies that are having a meeting inside of the central office. I've taken care of all of them, but there is one particular enemy you want to keep an eye out, and that is this officer here. Their name is Ryan Fisher, and once you do take care of them, make sure you take the safe combination off of their body. We'll need it for one of the side objectives later. If you then continue through the hallways and end up in this back room, you can find a classified document here. Additionally, you can find the safe where we just picked up the combination. So while you're here, you might as well open up the safe and grab the scuttle code, which is a side objective we'll be doing later and will show up on your map now.
Send the scuttle order and bring this whole
After interacting with the pressure valves and basically setting up the U-boat area to be destroyed, we can now make our way up to the ground level, and you'll have to go into this kind of tank base in order to plant a satchel charge in the vent to blow up the facility. But while you're here, there's also a pistol workbench that you can grab. We can walk forward into the area through the little gateway, turn left, and follow the trenches into this room to find the pistol workbench. Now we're just a little bit south of that outpost you can see on the map with the kind of yellow little huts. And just to the south of that, there's this nice, beautiful farmhouse. Obviously, there will be enemies, so take care of them. But once they are taken care of, go into the central area, and then you'll be able to go upstairs, go to the southern side of the building, and find the hidden item in one of the bedrooms. It's the comfort bag. We've then moved east from the location we were just at, following the road. The road will split. If you take the right-hand split, you'll end up right here. And there is this kind of underground base that links us back to where we were earlier on in the mission. If you enter from here and go into the first room on your left, you'll find a classified document sitting on the ground here, so make sure you pick it up. There will also be intel on the corkboard, which you can pick up that'll help you with a side mission, but from there you can also just run forward and keep an eye on the right hand side. There will be 3 doors. You can enter through any of them since all of the rooms are linked, but if you enter through the third and final door, inside of this room you can find classified documents number 5.
Designed to render the gun inactive before.
We've now ended up near the northeast corner of the map where there is a side objective to drop the scuttle charge, and there is this big base that we're going to have to get into the middle of to do that. But before we go in there, if we're standing on the road, you can actually kind of hook around and find this hut that's kind of just sitting in the middle of a field. And it seems like there's going to be nothing in here, but there's actually 2 valuable things, and you'll want to grab both of them while you're in here. Pick the lock or break the lock, up to you. Then you'll have to prone underneath the table, go through the hole in the ground using the ladder. There's also a gnome here. There are quite a few gnomes in this mission. I think I was able to find about 4. I don't know if you need all of them for a side challenge or anything. But once you're down here, don't forget to grab the personal letter as well as the SMG Workbench. Grab both. We then have our final personal letter of the mission near the Drop the Suspended Scuttle Charge side mission. This personal letter is found on an enemy, and I just showed you on the map where you can find that enemy naturally. However, again, if all of the enemies scatter, they will move, so keep that in mind. But if you go to this little corner hut, there will be 2 or 3 enemies here. There will be some normal units as well as an engineer. If you use your binoculars and scan the engineer, you'll see that they have the letter on them. So you can go up to them and then grab it, or just hand-to-hand combat to get it over to you. But that's your personal letter there. Next up, we can find our final hidden item of the mission. This is to the east of the area where we dropped the suspended scuttle charge, which is the fire you can see there in the background. I've then made my way out of that pit back onto kind of the ground floor. There's a nearby kind of green hut / tent, and as soon as you walk in it, there is a hidden item on the table. Last but not least, you'll make your way into this open field for one of the final main objectives of the mission, and from here you can look directly east. I'm standing near the flag in the middle of the field, or else the sight lines don't really work out. But if you look east from this flag, you should see a couple of buildings, and one of the buildings will have the stone eagle sitting on top of it near the very middle. You'll obviously want to line up your shot and make sure you grab it. I also did have a couple of weird glitches with this level, so hopefully you don't, but you might need to restart if things aren't working. Double check that you have all 19 collectibles before finishing the mission. Drop a like, share the video with a friend, and I hope to see you soon. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.